Whether you call yourself a gamer or not, you've most likely heard of Halo at some point. When this first person shooter game first came out in 2001, it caused a storm in the gaming industry. Halo has since become one of the highest grossing media franchises of all time. But none of that would be possible without the game's fascinating protagonist, Master Chief. Master Chief is a super soldier who has been raised and trained from an early age to become a weapon. He is faceless and you never see him without his green colored armor and helmet. You don't get to hear his birth name and you barely know anything about his background. Well, I'm here to give you just that. In this video, I'm giving you a glimpse into Master Chief's incredible backstory. Before we continue, make sure to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel for more videos like this. Knowing Master Chief's origin story is a must to understand Halo's plot in more depth. Even though the character's main story is never revealed in the game, much of his life story was told in the prequel of Halo Combat Evolved in the 2001 novel The Fall of Reach. Master Chief's original name was John. Born in 2511, he first lived with his family on a planet populated by humans called Eridanus II. His physique has always been bulky and muscular, even when he was 6 years old. He was even a foot taller than his schoolmates. Fast forward to 2517, John and several other children his age are secretly taken from their homes and replaced with identical twins in an attempt to hide their stealthy kidnapping. These children were then brought to the planet Reach, that is one of the United Nations Space Command bastions. They were given intense physical and psychological training to make them into Spartan 2 super soldiers. Their last names were replaced with numbers, and John became John 117. In the following 8 years, these children, including John, were enhanced biologically and cybernetically to become super soldiers. After the first successful mission, John 117 is informed about the Covenant and their doings. Master Chief and the rest of the Spartans return to Reach, where the High Command of UNSC develops a plan to capture the High Prophet of Covenant. During the training for this mission, he encounters Cortana, an AI. Unfortunately, the Covenant arrives before Master Chief could attack. Their invasion kills most of the Spartans, but Cortana escapes and Master Chief enters a cryogenic sleep. When Master Chief first appears in the games, he is just awakened from his cryogenic sleep. After escaping the ship he was previously on, he stumbles upon something even worse, Halo. To make matters worse, he realizes that he isn't the only one exploring the gigantic ring world. The Covenant had been there too. Cortana and Master Chief crash land on the ring's surface and immediately learn the reason why the Covenant insisted on keeping Halo safe. The ring was a space station. Halo is also a powerful weapon that any army would kill to have. The duo immediately looked for ways to disable the station. Little did they know, this was an elaborate plan by the Covenant which tricked the two into releasing a parasitic species, the Flood, that was locked away within Halo. These parasites kills its host, absorbs, and rewrites its DNA too. Soon the Flood take over Halo and kill most of the Covenant army, leaving only a few humans behind. Master Chief wanted to activate Halo, but Cortana revealed that activating it would kill all life in the galaxy. So they fled from there and an explosion tore Halo apart. In Halo 2, Master Chief finally gets to return home to Earth. However, his stay had been cut short because their attempts to keep Earth's location a secret had been unsuccessful. The Covenant had finally reached Earth. By the time they realized their plan, it was too late to fight them off. One of the Covenant's capital ships enters slipspace, and its shockwave completely eradicates New Mombasa. Master Chief somehow manages to follow the ship, only to discover another horrendous object, Delta Halo. Master Chief and an army of Marines push the Covenant back and assassinate the Prophet of Regret, but he and Cortana are captured by the Gravemind, a Flood intelligence who plan to stop the Covenant from activating Delta Halo. In Halo 3, Master Chief's two main concerns are a massive portal that the Covenant fleet slips through, and the other threat being the Flood that found its way to Earth. Thankfully, they control the infection in time. Just about here, Master Chief discovered a message from Cortana that claims another way to destroy the flood without the rings. Master Chief, Marines, Arbiter, and the elites leave Earth to find a Forerunner installation, the Ark, that's located on the other side of the Covenant portal. On the Ark, they encountered the Flood, who claims that the only way to stop the Prophet was to defeat them altogether. However, the Flood would soon betray them. Now Master Chief and Arbiter had to find another way to eliminate the parasites. Then they find out the Ark's other purpose was to recreate the Halo that Master Chief had once destroyed. By activating the incomplete Halo, it would only wipe out the local infestation. They needed activation codes, which one Cortana had, but it was buried within the Grave Mind's infected layer. Once he got a hold of Cortana, another problem arose. 343 Guilty Spark, another AI who had been helping the humans navigate the Ark, turned on them and tried to claim the station. In the end, they vaporized Guilty Spark and activated the Halo while simultaneously fleeing the station. The next game shows Master Chief in a cryopod, which he entered at the end of Halo 3. A fraction of ex-Covenant invade the ship, but Master Chief fights his way out and lands on a Forerunner shield world. He meets Diadek there, who plans on using the artifact, the Composer, to turn humanity into a mere digital data. Master Chief manages to defeat him by delivering a Havoc nuclear warhead. When we get to the ending of Halo 5, we see a Halo ring orbiting a planet. Cortana hums a tune and the ring suddenly lights up. Some would say the ring is activated, but that implies that it is about to be used to wipe out all nearby life. The answer is not clear at this point. I'm not going to go further with the story from here because we are caught up with Halo Infinite. So that's a wrap for the origin story of Master Chief. Make sure to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more content like this. See you in the next one.